Hello, welcome back. So I have a great suggestion from Leticia. She wanted to know more about conditionals. She's telling me, hey, I kind of get it, I kind of don't. Can you make a video about this? Of course, I would love to, but I want to say to all of you, they're easy peasy lemon squeezy. And before you disagree with me, hear me out. We're already using conditionals, we just don't know it. We use them in conversation, we use them in emails, we use them text, writings, whatnot. We are down with conditionals. We just don't know it. So let me go over what I'm talking about. And I promise you, it's not as difficult as you think. I'm going to be talking about some grammar in this video, like present simple, past simple, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go over this a little bit fast because a lot of you already know, but some of you may not. I want to be clear. It's always okay to reach out to me and say, hey, I need help. I'm stuck. I'm always here to help. And I'll definitely make a video about it if you want. If it looks like it'll benefit more people, then of course you're going to see a video about it. But never fear that, hey, I don't get what you're talking about. Just let me know. You are never alone on all of this crazy stuff. I love grammar. Let's get started. So, conditionals. There are two parts to them. And what are they? Well, they have an if part and they have a result part. So, they help us talk about situations with a result. If it rains, the result is I will stay home. And there are zero conditionals, first conditional, second, blah, blah, blah. And let's break it up. All right. So let's talk about zero conditionals. This is used for facts, zero conditionals, facts, general truths, and things that are always true. If you heat water to 100 Celsius, if we haven't done it, but if we do it, guess what? It will boil. That is the result. If you drop ice in the sun, guess what the result is? It melts. If people don't drink water, guess what the result is? They get thirsty. The structure of this sentence is if plus the present simple, present simple. So again, if, and the fact is this will happen. This is going to be fact. If we do this, this is a fact. It will happen. That is our zero conditional. Let's go on to second. So second, this is when we're talking about, I want to say imaginary things because it sounds better than it's not true. Because imaginary things just sound better. But we're going to have if plus past simple. We're going to put in the would because there's a probability and plus the verb. So the reason why there's a past simple, because take a look at this first sentence. If I won the lottery, it's a past simple. If I had won the lottery, meaning I would have already played, I would buy a big house. Would. Probability is I would buy a big house. I'm not saying that's a fact. I'm just saying probably I would do that. If I won the lottery, I would buy a fancy car. I'm not saying that's factual. I'm just saying the probability is pretty good. If she were taller, she would play basketball. If I had more free time, I would learn another language. So again, we're talking in the past simple kind of tense there. And then we're adding the would, the probability. Not a fact, but hey, the probability is pretty high. So third conditional. So this is going to be in the past, but it's past perfect. If plus past perfect would have plus past participle. I don't like math. I know I've said this many times, but sometimes we have to treat the structure of our grammar like a math problem. We have to memorize that mathematical equation so we could have our aha moment. So this may not make sense at first. Play with a little bit. If you still get stuck, let me know. But let's talk about the third conditional. So again, Third conditional, if plus past perfect, would have past participle. Blah, 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 Amanda. Okay. So, but it's similar to second conditional because we're talking about imaginary situations in the past, things that did not happen. So, if I had studied, I would have passed the exam. So, this already happened. I already took the exam. Sounds like I didn't do too well. So, if I had studied, I would have passed the exam. So, again, this is all in the past. So, there is a difference than second conditional because two parts of the sentence are in the past. If I had studied, I would have passed the exam. I already took the exam. And if in the past I would have studied, would have been a different result. Let's go to the next example. If they had left earlier, they would have caught the bus. Again, this is both in the past. They would have. Now, we use have because would have puts it in the past. If I didn't have after would, then it would not be a past participle, if that makes sense. The moment I put have after would, it makes it a past participle. So these are both in the past. If they had left earlier, of course they would have caught the bus. So these events already happened. If she had called me, I would have answered the phone. So again, these events have already happened, both are in the past. And if, meaning, hey, if this had happened, wow, this the result. And those are all true. And I'm sure third conditionals we probably use all the time. Oh my gosh, if I hadn't chatted so much in the morning with my husband, I would have been on time for my first class. Those of you that work with me know I'm always a couple minutes late. It's because I'm too busy chatting. So, and that's the story of my life. And also, when I was growing up, if I had paid attention in class more, if I hadn't talked so much in class, if I had studied, I would have done a lot better. So, again, all in the past. So, I hope that makes sense. There's always some confusion between second and third, but there is a difference because third completely in the past. Second, not so much, just the first part of it. All right, let's talk about mixed conditionals. So this is when the if clause and the time in the main clause are different. They combine two different conditional forms. So they throw, second, third, blah, blah, blah. We're mixing them in together. So for example, if I had studied medicine, I would be a doctor now. So this is past condition and also the present. So if I had studied medicine, I would be a doctor. I wouldn't be a computer engineer. So it would be what I'm talking about right now. If I were more careful, I would not have made that mistake yesterday. So, present condition, what's happening now, and the past result was, hey, I made a mistake yesterday. So, you definitely can mix these conditionals together. And, if I had studied a little harder in school, I could have had a scholarship. So again, I'm mixing the conditionals. You're going to have your if, you're going to have the result. And what happens is we mix them in, we could be using past, perfect, blah, blah, blah. So again, we are using conditionals. We just don't know it. And I want to add one more thing. The word if can sometimes be replaced by when in zero conditionals because the result is always true. When you boil water, let me rephrase that. When you put the temperature of water to 100 Celsius, the water will boil. I can say when. When you go outside without a jacket in the snow, you will be cold. See how I can replace when? I don't have to use if. Now, this is for zero conditionals. So When it comes to second conditionals, we often use were instead of was for all subjects. If I were, if she were, because this is more formal but very common in English. Lastly, conditional sentences, we can start with the if clause or with the main clause. Basically, what I'm saying is you don't always have to say if at the beginning of your sentence. We can actually start off with the result. We will go for a walk if it is sunny. So, if it is sunny, we will go for a walk. It's the same sentence, same conditional, it's just reversed. We will stay home if it rains. If it rains, we will stay home. So my point is you don't have to start off with if. You can start off with the result of the sentence and put if at the last part of it. I hope this made sense. Just remember you're using these conditionals. Now you put it with a fancy title. Let me know if you have any more questions, especially about the structure part. Always here to help. You take care, my friends. I'll see you next time.